Wexley spills the tea. Fill up my cup, baby. What you got for me?
I'm drinking Kool-Aid today, but we can pretend it's tea. But yeah, we're gonna start off with the WWE news like we always do, and pretty much lots of just nothing good, like lots of sad and just disappointing news for WWE. Like, nothing good all around. Pete Dunne is now known as Butch.
Yep.
Who's Butch?
Rough, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you go from being Pete Dunne, being the bruiserweight, a brand built in. You have tons of action figures already. You have championship runs. You've been on Raw several times. I mean, you've had storylines on the main roster as Pete Dunne. It makes no sense to change his name. It makes no sense. It's bad. Honestly, I know I mean, I don't want anybody to lose their job and lose their livelihood and not make a paycheck, but like, God, I really hope they just cut him. Like, I just hope they cut him because, I mean, Jesus, he's got to be. I mean, the Indies got to be better than being Butch, Ben. Got to be better than being Butch.
Not only was it snake bit from the get-go, but also the first match that he's involved in with his new shitty name happens to be when Big E breaks his neck.
Yeah, then that's actually what I was gonna lead into next, is that one of our dear beloved favorite wrestlers' possible career-ending neck injury broken by Ridge Holland botching a suplex on the outside.
Yeah, it's rough.
And it was completely botched, and a lot of people have, overanalyzed like how he fucked it up, whatever. He doesn't have a lot of heat apparently backstage. We're not gonna, dig too deep into this.
I mean, belly to bellies are risky. I mean, no matter who's throwing them, they are risky. I mean, I've seen the bump, and to be totally honest, it's not. I mean, his form looked like just a bad landing, man. I'm not blaming it on E at all. It just looked like I mean, these things just happen sometimes. I mean, it's
very unfortunate, but dude. It sucks for Big E.
Totally, yeah.
How many careers can you ruin in one match, though?
Oh yeah, that's rough. 2-1. Two birds, one stone. Like, WWE's knocking it out of the park these days. Dingers.
And then, of course, WWE stooped a lot of us this week into sitting through 3 hours of Raw thinking Cody Rhodes was going to debut, and not a fucking thing happened, and it was just as shitty as any other Raw. 30 to 40% video packages and recaps. And I thought it was just like that live, because I went to live Raw like 2 or 3 months ago in Nashville, and I was like, dude, there's a lot of fucking video packages, but that's just how Raw is.
Yeah, that's just what Raw is at this point.
They just recap everything.
Yeah, I feel like the internet kind of duped ourselves, though. We just assumed because of Jacksonville and because of old Uncle Dave Miltsy that we were just going to see it. I don't think WWE ever said anything or even kind of hinted at Cody Rhodes. So can't really put that one on them. That's all on us. And the rumors are that's still the case. Rumors are it's still going to be Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at Mania. I mean, I think it's smart of them now to just make it a surprise, like just almost like an open challenge at Mania, whoever faces Rollins. So that way, if they don't get him, it's not like they're like, well, we never said we were going to have him in the first place, like it's all dirt sheet, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. At this point now, it's like, I don't even know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it's like. I want to see Cody because I'm a Cody fan. I know that like lately it's not popular to say that you like Cody Rhodes, but I like Cody Rhodes and I would like to see him wrestle Seth Rollins, but I would also not. I don't want to see him in that WWE creative. Like, I just don't think it's good. I don't think there's any, like, his character, I don't know where it's really going to fit on the shows,
Our best case scenario is that they hold off until SummerSlam and it just happens in Nashville.
Yeah. That'd be great.
I mean, if Cody comes back as a heel, like 100%, because if he would just lean into that heelness that he was doing, that's just the only thing that pissed me off about Cody is that he tried to be a baby face when he was clearly, like, just doing everything he could to be a
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous. Well, speaking of Seth Rollins, did you see him on Jimmy Fallon last night give that leprechaun the fucking stomp?
Yeah, I did. It actually looked great, too.
I thought it was fucking hilarious.
It looked great. Like, the leprechaun did a great job taking the bump.
And just the whole presentation of it, Seth Rollins, he's great.
Yeah,
his heel character is like, I don't know. I love how charismatic he is, and he never really did that much during like the Shield run or even his chicken shit heel run. Like, this is the best. This is like the best Seth Rollins, I think, right now. He's killing it.
I love it. I'm a big fan. I mean, I've always been a fan of Seth.
That's the question.
What is it?
Why didn't they let it be Hornswoggle?
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't want to pay him.
Probably.
They're probably some legal shit. And speaking of legal shit, as we know, MLW is suing WWE. over some like monopoly bullshit. But they are citing the success of AEW as a way to dismiss the lawsuit, saying, "Oh, we're not a monopoly. We're not the only wrestling company. Like, look how successful they are." So finally,
I mean, he's got a point though. He does have a point.
I mean, finally, but it's like they won't admit it like on the you know what I mean. But now it's finally like in a public forum, and the courtroom admitted that hey, they're doing pretty good. And, there's still going to be like, the crazy WWE fanboys that only watch WWE are still going to be like, no, AEW's Bush League, but it's just how it is. The internet fucking community of wrestling fans is fucking just horrible. They're outrageous when we get the tribalism and people just sticking to like their.
Yeah, we like all kinds of wrestling on here. We like wrestling.
MLW, all that shit. Yeah. So we want to say on here, so we're going to kind of stick with the WWE, just a rest in peace to Scott Hall. One of all of our, we grew up with this guy. It hits different. It's not like, some old ass 80s wrestler guy dying. It's a dude that we've been watching since we fucking started watching wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the Shawn Razor run, I mean, I'm like 9 years old. That's like peak WWF. I mean, that to me was everything. I thought that dude was the coolest guy on earth. And apparently he was the coolest guy on earth. He didn't even have to try. He's just effortless, man. Definitely gonna miss Scott Hall for sure. All the thoughts and prayers go out to his family for sure. I know that's like kind of paper thin with a lot of people, but I mean, I really do genuinely feel like Scott Hall. It's almost like you don't really realize how much of a main event guy, how big of a star he really was, how much space he took up in your fandom until this happens, because you assume like we got 20 more years of Scott Hall on podcasts and whatever else, like
especially after him getting sober and shit. We thought
and it just and it just didn't happen, and that sucks. Legend for sure, will never be forgotten. Best punch in the business, bar none. I don't care what anybody says. Best right hand in the history of professional wrestling. R.I.P. Scott Hall.
I think the biggest part is the recovery and the fact that he accomplished it, he got through it, and like to hear a loose blood clot after a hip replacement, then 3 heart attacks is how it happened. I mean, like that to me is the most heartbreaking part, is that he did it. And man, bad times don't last, but bad guys do. R.I.P.
Love it. Forever, man.
All right. So moving on to some sad shit in a different way. So, you guys saw this control your narrative bullshit, right?
Oh God.
And you saw the rules to it's like fucking Raw Underground meets Fake Fight Club meets, I don't know what the fuck's going on. The rules were dumb as fuck. If anybody read these rules they have, like, I advise you, it's fucking dumb as hell.
I almost don't even want to talk about them, like, because I feel like there's such a parody of a promotion at this point, and it's embarrassing. Like, I don't know. I mean,
rule number 1, the match isn't against your opponent, the match is against yourself. That's something like that.
It's just so bad. And like, it's just such a, it's awful. I don't know. Yeah, it's awful.
It's got a lot of questionable people associated with it. So
done. I'm done with it.
It's like, now do we question Vince for letting these people go anymore?
No, absolutely not.
You do have a point there, Jesse. You got a good point. Something pretty cool that's coming up here soon in Nashville. Just announced Matt Cardona is taking on Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship at the Crockett Cup.
Yep.
And Nashville is the last place that Nick Aldis won the title back from Cody Rhodes at NWA 70. So
I was there.
It's going to be pretty awesome.
That is exciting. I'm excited to be covering the NWA for the first time next week. It's going to be super, super, super exciting. But before we get to that, what else we got in the news? Anything else?
Oh yeah, we got some interesting AEW stuff. It was pretty eventful in the past few days. Cody Rhodes officially moved to the alumni section on AEWshop.com, so his stuff is still there, but he's an alumni. This was a big work. That's what's going on here? Are they working?
Maybe it is. Maybe it is
yanking our chain.
Maybe it is work.
I did say that.
Is this Brian Pillman times 90? Like, is he really getting us?
I mean, I don't know. If he is, he's doing a great job, though.
Damn it, Cody. I hate you. I love you. Fuck you. I love you. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, but
the last time I made a prediction about all of this, I thought Cody was going to end up buying ROH. Tony did instead. Now I believe it's a work. fucking 5,000% more than I did.
Maybe he's gonna come back as the ROH guy. Who knows? President of the Ring of Honor or something like that.
Yeah, because he can't be world champion in AEW. You can't even go for it. He's the fucking ROH world champion. It's gonna be Cody and Gresham.
Well, he could if he gets re-signed.
Jonathan Gresham, the ROH World Champion, is actually in contract negotiations with Tony Khan right now, but they're not sure if it's going to be for their ones. It's not official if it's an AEW contract or an ROH contract, since he's doing both. But maybe it would be cool to see him get a little something, and we could appear on both shows because Jonathan Gresham fucking rules, and just the dream matches there.
Yeah,
I hate Jonathan Gresham because I love Jordan Grace.
We know that heat that you get, that heat for Gresham. For old Grace, but who's got a lot of backstage heat right now at AEW? Joey Janela, because apparently he's been injuring people. He broke Kingston's orbital bone, and they had to rework weeks of TV because he was actually supposed to feud with Jericho way before they actually had their feud, and they are not extending his contract. I was going to say he's not going to get another offer, but yeah. It's not his choice. They just, I think they're done with Joey Janela. He's apparently injured multiple people on the roster and just has a bad reputation. But that's unfortunate because I was a pretty big fan of Joey Janela, and you don't really get to see him on AEW anymore. Yeah, you got to watch the GCW, which we all love some GCW around here. But that's crazy. I never thought of Joey Janela as a guy who would injure people. But hey, shit happens, I guess.
That sounds a little political to me, but I don't buy that. They're not re-signing him because he's dangerous in the ring. I don't buy that. I just don't buy that. You think
they're over it? You think they're just over it because they got fucking other wrestlers who are way more profitable and bigger stars?
Yeah, and I think Joey's probably spouted off at the mouth, and it's probably just more of an attitude. I don't know any of this obviously, but I like the idea that he's just dangerous and that's when they're not renewing him. That's not true. That's just definitely not true.
Some good speculation going on right there, though. So
they still have Nyla Rose, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Come on.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So last night on Dynamite, my prediction was actually right about the Scorpio Sky Wardlow thing. Scorpio Sky actually retained, and MJF cost him the match, which you thought it was going to be the reverse. MJF's going to help him win, and that was going to lead there. But so yeah, Scorpio Sky still the TNT champion. So I don't really know where they're going to go with that.
Long. I don't know where it's going to go, but
I don't know where it's going, but I'm really looking forward to the Wardlow and MJF thing. That's going to be awesome because he almost got to powerbomb him last night, but then Shawn Spears came down there and beat the fuck out of him. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And one of the cooler things that happened last night that I talked shit about last week is Chris Jericho's new faction. I was like, it's fucking stupid, and I didn't like it, but he pulled full heel turn and called himself a sports entertainer, and I think it's fucking pure gold. It's genius. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's great. The
promo was top level. I think the name is still ridiculous, but the
promo
was
ridiculous. But
grade A++++.
It makes more sense now, and it works better. And then he made up the new names, Daddy Magic, Mike, and just all these fucking. It just great. It went from something that I thought was gonna be bullshit, and Jericho manages to just. He's good. He's good, and he's good. He's good when he's good, and he's okay when he's not.
There are worse ways to be. I think it's perfect. Do you want to talk about heel shit at that age and what he's doing and everything that we talked about where you're just do commentary or just get the fuck off TV, and now we're it's actually kind of fun to watch.
Oh, and
he got back into shape, got his shit back together, and got some better ideas. I think that boozing was fucking him up, making him come up with the stupid shit, and he's He was going too heavy on that, and now he's looking better, getting back in there, and
yeah, he looks great, dude. He's super fit.
We love what you're doing, Chris Jericho.
Yep, big fan. They
call him the demo guy for the reason. He knows his demographic, and he's knowing how to work them, and it's great. I'm loving it.
Well,
and the only other
multiple times also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only other big thing in the news is that Thunder Rosa finally got that title win that we knew was going to happen in a pretty gnarly cage match. It was not as good as their lights out match. I'll say that. It was not as good, but it was still a pretty fucking good match.
It was a good match, yes. It was a good match.
Above average, great.
And it was time. It's time to drop the title for sure.
And the cage was a little weird last night. It was kind of like a Hell in a Cell without a top because you could still get on the ground around the cage. I don't know if the ring was smaller or the cage was bigger, but it made sense that you got to get better angles from the cameramen, and you could just do a little bit more with that, I think, instead of just having the cage right up against the wall.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a cool fit. I think it looked good. I liked that vibe. I like that it's. I just like that it's different than WWE's, honestly.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they don't do the escape stipulation because I fucking hate that in a cage match. You're supposed to keep the competitors in and keep other people out. It's not like that's dumb because you could just run and escape from the beginning. Just I don't even want to get into the logic of that, but yeah, pretty good match. And yeah, Jesse, what'd you think about it?
I mean, I'm a big fan of what AEW has pulled off finally in the women's division in terms of Thunder Rosa, Britt. Like, there are certain people, there are certain talents that it was
Those
really
two
weak.
Specifically, yeah.
It was really weak for a minute. And the idea of signing Thunder Rosa and having that person in there, fucking clutch. And I'm proud of them for seeing that, recognizing that, and going forward. I think that all plays into why we're seeing people like Cody and Brandy maybe not be involved so much. I think that it just up and down redesign, ROH. I also think a lot of the other part of it is work too, but everything's a work.
Yeah.
Wrestling's real, people are fake.
Totally true.
Life is a fucking work, dude.